what's happening? Welcome to another installment of Wonderfully Weird Japan! And to keep things going with the Halloween theme, well, I guess because it's the Halloween month, October, we're going to talk about something I really like. I may like anime and I appreciate anime and manga, but my favorite thing about Japan is the culture, the people, the lifestyle, and the folklore and all their cool stuff there. But I like that about like every country, basically. I like to hear all about their lores and their mythologies and all that stuff. Maybe it's a horror person in me. I don't know. But I find that stuff in their culture and all that neat stuff is the most number one interesting thing. And this seems fitting for the month. Stuff about yokai, monsters, spirits, all that good stuff. We have the film from 1968, Yokai Monsters, 100 Monsters, aka Yokai Hayaku Monogatari. Again, Yokai Monsters, 100 Monsters. 1968 Japanese fantasy horror film directed by Kimiyoshi Yasuda. The first in a trilogy of films produced in the 60s, the late 60s, which focused around Japanese monsters known as, again, yokai. Again, directed by Yasuda, produced by Yamato Yashiro, screenplay by Tetsuro Yoshida, and starring Shinobu Araki, Jun Fujimaki, Ryotaro Gomi, and Shozo Hayashiya. Score, music, cinematography, go check out all that deep, interesting stuff. So released from Daiei International Films, distributed by them, the Daiei Film Company, March 1968, the 20th, 80 minutes long, and basically, I'll give you the short gist of it. I don't want to spoil too much. Just a review about what my thoughts on it without spoiling too much or whatnot. You have a rich landowner intending to tear down a local shrine to build a brothel. Yeah. They hold a ceremony during which various tales of yokai are told. You get all these cool things. I love the effects, the special effects, the practical effects. It's pretty neat looking, pretty kind of creepy. Some of the stuff that's kind of bad, but makes it even more creepier than just creepy, well done and all. I really like especially the Kasa Obake, the umbrella Suku Mogami, and the long-necked woman, Roko Rokubi. Always interesting to do, especially back then. Still kind of hot. What? However, with all these stories, the landowner omits the purification ceremony at the end to ward off the evil spirit conjured up during the tales. And then there were sequels, Yokai Monsters Spook Warfare, released the same year, and Yokai Monsters Along with Ghosts, released in 1969. I just really love the folklore. I mean, you get these very interesting, weird, disturbing, silly, and creepy, all these good mix of, like, the yokai and when you get some of those ones, like the ones with the toilets and the slit-mouth woman and all that kind of stuff, and these other creatures, the snow maiden, and all this stuff, I really like it. This here with the creatures and the monsters, they look really interesting. They had extensive use of practical effects, known as Tokusatsu, and we all know what that is. Think Godzilla and stuff there. It's basically the Japanese term for live-action film or television drama. Heavy on special effects, the suits, and the stuff like that. Largely was actors in costumes and puppetry, and even some examples of traditional animation. It's notably darker in tone than other outings. It focused on the traditional story of the monsters. It's, each story is different, each monster is very interesting. I mean, it's one of the best things I've seen. It's so out there and creepy, genuinely like that. Sure, it says some silly stuff and it's a bit wacky, but mostly it's just because of the look of the monsters and how we view it as them. Otherwise, I'm sure as a kid or whatever, or if you really ran into these things, you'd be crapping your pants. But basically, it's dark, it's creepy. Sure, again, it has some funny monsters, great costumes for the era, and the effects are just amazing. It's a film I feel like is under the radar. I'm pretty sure not most people are going to know about it unless you're big on the big film type of person, a big cinephile, or, someone who is just really into Japanese film, especially older stuff, which I like to look into and look back on. There's tons of really good stuff out there. I especially like Yojimbo and all that stuff. Great, great cinema. Then Onibaba. I mean, that's also a great film. Also some good, ecchi, fan service stuff in there. But anyway, it's a very interesting film. I think the acting was really well done. The story wasn't bad. Again, the effects, the atmosphere, the feel of it, the cinematography, the directing. I think everything was well made. Not the best thing in the world, but not the worst, but not average. I'd still say I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10, just for everything about that I found very fascinating. I think you'll find a favorite out of it, out of all the monsters. If you watch it, pinpoint, pick out which ones you think are cool. It's a very interesting film, basically. And if you've never seen it before, get ready for it. Nightmare fueled. Yeah, some of the stuff there is so, like, holy cow. And again, the stories, you got stuff, like I said, with the greed, based on that. Based on these type of curses, punishments, and all that stuff there for people. Very great film for that time period. If you look at some of their other releases, really like to see something like Daimajin. You know, that's a good film. I think I'll talk about that one later. You can't really get all these. I mean, sadly, they're unavailable. They're out of print. Hopefully, there's a good way, cheaper way to get them, to watch them, find them on YouTube, whatever. But seriously, 100 Monsters from 1968. Very interested and very Japanese. I think you'll love it. It's wonderfully weird and perfect for the Halloween season, and just a good film to just kind of look into if you want to see like old Japanese films in this way. But then they span all sorts of stuff. Let me know what you think, keep it happening, and enjoy the wonders and greatness of Japanese culture and film and everything like that.